All right. Good afternoon, everybody. This is Anna Jenkins, Marketing Coordinator at Core BTS, and welcome to today's webinar, Borderless Collaboration. Throughout our presentation this afternoon, we encourage you to interact with us by typing in questions and comments using the Q&A pane in the WebEx Event Center. We'll be answering questions live both during the event and after the presentation. We are also recording today's session, and we'll make the link to the recording available after the event via email. Today on our panel, we have Lance Cunningham, Collaboration Architect, and at this time, I will pass it along to Lance to get us started.
Thanks, Anna. Happy Thursday afternoon, everyone. Hopefully your day is as nice of a spring day as mine here in Minnesota is today. Spring came a little earlier this year. Can't complain about that. But today we're going to talk about borderless collaboration. And I'll define what we mean by that in just a minute. But before we get into today's topic, I just want to discuss the webinar schedule that we have going on, particularly around the collaboration theme. And so just as a reminder, for those that missed the January and February collaboration webinars on upgrading to most recent releases as well as next generation office and meeting spaces, those recordings are available on youtube.com. So if you search for those titles or go to Core BTS's channel, you should be able to find those recordings. And then looking forward to Q2 in April, we'll be talking about customer collaboration on Thursday, March 16th. In May, we'll be talking about business-to-business collaboration on Thursday, May 21st. And in June, we will be talking about Core BTS collaboration and lifecycle management services on Thursday, June 25th. So jot those down on your calendar. But if you received an invite for this webinar, you will probably also receive an invite for those upcoming webinars. So thanks again for joining, and look forward to discussing with you all on future webinars. So again, if you've attended these webinars before, this is one thing that we like to just level set is the definition of collaboration. So the dictionary definition of collaboration is that it is a joint effort of multiple individuals or groups to accomplish a task or goal. And then from a technology perspective here at Core BTS, we take that a step further, and therefore collaboration has to be a holistic effort that includes people, process, and technology. We'll talk more about what that means and how we bring that all together through today's topic. But really, it's the combination of those three things together, people, processes, and technology, that really unleash the power of collaboration. So we're going to be talking about borderless collaboration today, which is all about enabling your workforce with collaboration tools and resources and capabilities, no matter where they are, in the workplace, out in public, at home, etc. And we'll just talk real briefly about some statistics about why this concept of borderless collaboration is needed, why it's important, etc. So one of the big things is work is becoming more interconnected than ever. 67% of employees report an increase in work requiring active collaboration. They need to interact with their peers, both in the office, outside of the office, etc. 57% increase in the number of employees collaborating from other geographic locations. Our work is becoming more dispersed. Even smaller and smaller businesses are beginning to be more branch-based with smaller offices in different geographic locations as opposed to a single headquarters, which requires the need for enhanced collaboration and borderless collaboration. And then 50% of business productivity is tied to effective collaboration. So if we don't have effective tools and collaborative technology in our spaces, that our business productivity can suffer. And also, workers want choice and flexibility. 40% of the workforce will be mobile by 2016. I personally think that'll be met quicker and will be a higher statistic by 2016 because we're already seeing a dramatic shift, right? Everybody has mobile devices, whether it's a smartphone or a tablet or their laptop, and is able to do work virtually from anywhere. But again, depending on the tools that they're enabled with in each of those spaces and contexts, can depend on how, or it can have an impact on how productive and effective they are when they're not in the office. 40% of users who use 3 or more devices for video calling. We can many of us can do video calling on our smartphones, our tablets, our laptops, etc. I personally have more like 9 to 10 devices that I do video calling on. But the idea here is that it's becoming more flexible, and even our independent individual mobile devices are becoming enabled to do high-quality video calling anytime, and we'll talk more about that later. And 94% of business leaders say cloud collaboration enables flexibility. And that's absolutely true. Cloud collaboration allows you to roll out new capabilities, new technology, and even processes much more quicker by enabling them in cloud resources that are more flexible and can be adopted on a quicker basis in a faster time to implementation. So basically what this is all about is that the lines between home and work are also blurring, and also the disparity between what we have at home and technology that we have at work is also changing. So it used to be, quite some time ago, that work was the place that we had the most advanced technology. And then a few years ago, that flip-flopped, right? As more people had smartphones and other devices that they purchased for their own personal use, they were often more powerful and more capable of more advanced things than the devices that we had at work. Maybe at work we still had a very old PC and a very old phone and some outdated collaboration tools. And now we're seeing kind of that all blend together, the ability of bringing your own device and using your own, employees using their own devices in the workplace and enabling those with workplace tools in a secure and managed way is really knocking down the barriers and the borders, if you will, between home life, work life, and everywhere in between. Now, at the same time, it's important to be able to enable work-life balance as well as these lines continue to blur as well. But 61% of employees globally believe they don't need to be in the office to be productive and efficient. Many actually believe they can be more productive and efficient when outside of the office because they're not succumb to workplace distractions and conversations, et cetera. If they have things that they need to focus, they might be more effective at home on their own in order to complete those tasks and goals. But it's still important to be able to connect them with the tools and resources to interact with other people in the company when needed. 60% of companies' desks are vacant at any time. More people are out in the field, more people are visiting branch offices, more people are working from home. And Borderless collaboration enables these users to, again, to be able to continue to be productive and effective when outside the office. 70% of aspiring executives who plan to manage large teams say they will rely more heavily on video in the next 5 to 10 years as people, again, are more dispersed, both within the organization itself as well as outside the organization, that need to have high-quality video communication anytime, anywhere, to create that more rich experience, more rich engagement is becoming more and more important. And just a few facts about video collaboration, particularly in the area of collaboration anytime, anywhere. Video is a relatively new entrant. Video access used to be much more difficult in order for users to use, and that has changed dramatically. But these are just some statistics about the positive impact that video-based collaboration has. So improves group collaboration, increases productivity, improves focus, brings people closer together, et cetera. So around this concept, and I've introduced this before in some of the other webinars, is the concept of the Core BTS collaboration cycle, which is, again, going back to the concept of collaboration is about people, process, and technology. And before we get to the technology perspective, we think it's wise to start with a people and process perspective with what is the business activity that's trying to be accomplished. So the world of borderless collaboration is enabling employees as well as other constituents of an organization to be able to leverage and interact with the organization and other resources independent of their time, place, capabilities, et cetera. So we're going to talk about driving this business activity of allowing people to have the same experiences at work in the office as they do anywhere else. Again, out in the field, in a hotel somewhere, working from home, etc. And that tool set is going to define certain capabilities that are needed, both from a technology perspective and a access perspective, and those are going to drive certain experiences. If those things are well aligned and user-friendly, your employees will have good experiences, and they'll use those tools and capabilities more often. They'll collaborate more frequently, both when they're in and outside of the office, which has an impact on behavior. If we have bad experiences, we're not going to use those tools and capabilities anymore or less frequently, and therefore our productivity and our efficiency is going to suffer. So overall, that has an impact on culture. A more productive workplace breeds a more positive culture, and a less productive workforce that is constantly frustrated with the tools and capabilities provided to them has a negative impact on corporate culture. So as an organization becomes more productive and more positive about interacting with each other no matter where they are, that often leads to new business productivity through efficiency gains. So let's talk a little bit more about what this looks like in a borderless technology perspective. So in many organizations, there's a single headquarters where the majority of the organization is, or in some cases it might just be it's the largest office within an organization, and then there are multiple branch offices, anywhere between one and many branch offices, and they're often integrated with each other with MPLS networks connecting them together. So you have a private network between those locations. And so, when you're, in a lot of cases, whether you're in the headquarters or at a branch office, from a network and access to tools perspective, it can be relatively seamless. And advances in wireless technology, et cetera, has made that even more flexible. Now, with the concept of borderless technology is taking that a step further and enabling that same experience no matter where you are. If you're a mobile worker, here we have a mobile worker out on a park bench using wireless technology, maybe either from a cellular provider or public Wi-Fi. A teleworker working from home, or even outside of the organization, suppliers, partners, and customers being able to interact with the organization, as well as a consumer of technology, being able to interact and leverage information and capabilities as needed. And the idea of borderless collaboration is building an architecture and a collaboration platform that enables all of these things, again, regardless of context, and not just enabling the capabilities, but also making sure that they're secure and well controlled as well. So by enabling a borderless collaboration environment, it creates productivity and flexible working. And the benefits to the business can be faster decision-making, strengthened innovation, mobile and virtual work teams, allowing all these people to work together faster and more efficiently in real time. So one of the major tools that in the Cisco portfolio that provides this capability is Cisco Jabber. And so Jabber's been around for quite a while and has gone through many iterations, but particularly in these last few versions has really made it a really robust collaboration tool that, again, enables borderless collaboration, allowing it to be accessed and leveraged from a full feature set virtually anytime, anywhere. So more about how that's used outside of the organization, but at a fundamental feature set, Jabber is an all-in-one UC application that does presence and instant messaging, allow you to message with people not just inside the organization, but as well as outside the organization. Voice, video, and voice messaging all inside the app, so making a voice call, making a video call, using visual voicemail right inside the application. Desktop sharing, multi-user conferencing, and being able to collaborate from any workspace and any device. So whether it's a PC, a Mac laptop, a tablet such as an iPad or an Android tablet, or a smartphone like an iPhone or Android phone, all those devices can have the Jabber client on them, and very ubiquitous feature set and capability set. And it also can be deployed either on-premise with on-premise call manager resources, and applications or up in the cloud, as well as integration with Microsoft Office and other productivity suites. So again, just a little, taking that a step further as far as the multiple devices from the desktop, the tablet, the smartphone, as well as the web. Again, a seamless user experience and feature set across all these devices. And the last one there with the web is being able to integrate Jabber technology directly inside a web page. So that can either be within Salesforce, within an organization, for example, or building it into Google Apps, or building it into your own company web page for end customers and clients and partners to be able to connect into the organization via a web page and not have to have the Jabber software installed on their actual device in order to do so. So a key part of enabling this borderless collaboration is how these tools are able to connect into the organization. So in the first generation of Jabber, you had to be on net in order to use the Jabber capabilities. So it was a great tool when you were in the office or in a branch office and within that private network of the organization. And then through Cisco AnyConnect VPN access, which then was adapted for mobile devices as well, allowed you to do VPN access and basically behave like you're on the internal network of an organization while you were virtually anywhere that you had internet access. The drawback to that, though, is for one, it secures the entire device and shoves off all the device traffic from the laptop or the mobile device, etc., through that VPN tunnel. As well as it required, an end user to have the AnyConnect client on their machine, have an account, username, password, sign in, and turn that VPN on before they could access these other tools. Well, now that is evolved with the Cisco Expressway solution that allows these collaboration tools, and not just Jabber, we'll talk about some of the other tools that are can be used this way as well, is that when you're off-net, these tools just work the same way as you're on-premise or off-net by creating a secure session-based firewall traversal through the Expressway back to the collaboration applications on-premise or in the cloud. That secures that real-time collaboration traffic and not everything else, right? So the rest of the activity on the device, such as internet browsing, other personal activity, doesn't go through the internal organization's network. That's split out and stays on the public internet. It's just the communication that is required to enable these collaboration applications that's pushed back into the organization's internal network. And this really just creates flexibility of being able to simply open up the application or the capability that you want to use, whether it's Jabber or another device, and simply use it, not worry about whether you're off-net, on-net, having to VPN, etc. So just taking that a little bit closer about what this looks like is that allows, again, these off-premise devices, whether it's Jabber, and in this case in the picture you also see a telepresence device. It can also be some of the new Cisco phones can also leverage this capability that they simply can be plugged into the internet and then home back through this Expressway edge capability in your DMZ and then connect into your back-end call manager with a minimum version of Call Manager 9.1, ideally the most recent version 10.5. And over there on the right, just a couple minimum versions required for that. Expressway 8.1, which today we're at 8.5. Unified Call Manager 9.1 or 10. Again, we're at 10.5 today. And then Jabber 9.7, current release is 10.6. And Telepresence version code 7.03, which is currently at 7.01, which is currently at 7.3. So this has been around for a bit and compatible with a wide variety of versions of this various software that have been around. And so there's some flexibility there. But the main thing is again, that you can, with a multitude of devices, have that borderless collaboration, whether you're in the office or outside of the office. Another option is for that home teleworker that maybe primarily works out of the home office and has a dedicated space set up in their home office. The Cisco Meraki Z1 Teleworker Gateway is a very powerful device. I have one of these myself. myself at my home office and find it a remarkable device. But basically, it's a little, Cisco home router that plugs into your, home cable modem or DSL modem, what have you, and then has a 4 gigabit switch built into it for plugging into phones, printers, computers, other local wired devices, but it does auto VPN back to the home organization. So creating a VPN tunnel of all of the corporate devices that are there in that home network, allowing you to have a phone, a laptop, and even a managed printer, et cetera, basically appear to be on the internal corporate network in a home office on this small little device. Also provides for layer 7 application traffic shaping and prioritization. So the central IT office can decide, for a home worker and can control what applications are prioritized or even blocked when working from home. Layer 3 firewall to separate corporate data from personal traffic. So that it can separate the corporate traffic to go through the VPN tunnel and personal traffic to go out the local cable modem ISP traffic. Wireless radio built into it as well, supporting 802.11n at up to 600 megabits per second and up to 4 different SSID broadcasts from that single device. Self-configuring and plug and play, so it can be it's also configured from a cloud management portal. So it can be pre-configured and then shipped out to a teleworker and simply plugged into their internet connection and be 100% ready to go. And then the central IT office can see that device has been plugged in, that it's made active, and can manage it, can monitor that traffic, et cetera, and make additional changes from a very simple, easy to manage cloud access web interface. And then also, besides just network connectivity via your traditional Ethernet jack from a cable modem or DSL modem, it also supports 3G, 4G connectivity from the USB port on the back. So you can use a USB 3G or 4G modem for areas that might prefer having that type of connectivity or use that connectivity as a backup. So we talked a bit about, enabling the end user from a device perspective as well as from a home office perspective, but it's also about connecting from a meeting perspective. And so one of the things that we often talk about is when we decide to collaborate with someone, we need to decide how we're going to collaborate. Is it a scheduled meeting we're doing later this week or next month, or are we doing something ad hoc? Where I need to engage with one or more peers right now. And so when I schedule that meeting, I need to make some decisions about what technology I use and where people are going to at and do they have access to that technology. When participating in a meeting, there are other certain things to manage. And then after the meeting, there's additional items that need to be handled as well. But starting with when deciding to collaborate and when scheduling a meeting, in the past, there are usually 3 main technologies that we look to use. It's voice technology, web conferencing technology, or video conferencing technology. And each of these things kind of have their own pros and cons. And in the past, none of these things have really worked together very well. So when I decide to collaborate with individuals remotely, it's basically one or the other. If I'm choosing voice technology, though, I am limiting or impacting engagement. Whereas if I choose video conferencing, I am maybe maximizing engagement, but I'm also limiting access, location, flexibility, et cetera. And so there's always this give and take as to what capability I'm going to use. And then web conferencing was kind of meant to be this middle of the road where, I have access and flexibility, but still I'm sacrificing engagement on some level. So one of the more recent innovations from Cisco is the concept of collaboration meeting rooms, as well as just the evolution of the voice and video and web conferencing technology to come together as a collaboration platform. And that collaboration is greater than the sum of its parts. And one of the main capabilities that bring those things together are collaboration meeting rooms from Cisco, which ties Cisco WebEx, Cisco Telepresence, and Cisco Voice, as well as third-party devices all together in a single meeting. So I schedule once, either directly inside Outlook or via the WebEx scheduling interface, and I no longer have to worry about are people going to join via voice, or people going to join from web conferencing, or are people going to join from video conferencing rooms. They have all those capabilities available to them in one meeting, and everyone is brought seamlessly together. So whether I'm at a telepresence device or joining via WebEx on a mobile device or a laptop or a computer, it's one click and it starts the meeting, and everyone else can join from one click from a telepresence room or from a WebEx device. As well as if I don't have any of those things available to me, I can still dial in the traditional way by dialing a phone number, entering in an access code, and joining the meeting. So again, it allows people to meet with anyone, anywhere, at any time, and really knocks down those barriers or borders, if you will, of not just from a people and location context, but also from a technology and capability context. And know that it's not just voice and video that are shared in a seamless meeting, but it's also voice, video, and content. So down there at the bottom, you can see the difference between an immersive telepresence unit, a personal telepresence unit, a WebEx device on a laptop, a WebEx a client on a tablet, or even a smartphone, that all these things are shared at the same time with relatively a similar user experience, being able to see that content, remote video participants, and hear everybody all at the same time. And again, having that end-to-end security of having the voice, video, and web conferencing brought together in a secure encrypted environment is also important. So the Cisco Collaboration Meeting Room concept brings together consistent meeting room experience across any mobile, desktop, or room-based video endpoint. Users can be provisioned very easily, lots of scalability. Currently it's set to 25 video endpoints, so video conferencing telepresence devices, and then depending on your WebEx subscription can scale anywhere between 25 and 1,000 WebEx users in a common meeting. And you can have multiple meetings running concurrently as well, right? So that user limit is number of participants per meeting. And then there are flexible options for deployment or consumption of this of cloud, hybrid, or premise. So CMAR Cloud is having everything in the cloud, which adds some added flexibility of bringing in different devices from all over and keeping the majority of that media-rich bandwidth out in the cloud and not affecting the corporate network. Or hybrid also can have a good context if you have a lot of telepresence devices on premise and want to keep that telepresence traffic on the internal network, where you can be sure to ensure QoS and other bandwidth provisioning, and then connect with WebEx in the cloud for those remote participants. And then CMR premise is just keeping all of your meeting resources on premise within the internal network. But regardless, all three of these modes can have participants, when deployed correctly, connect to a CMR meeting, whether it's cloud, hybrid, or on-premise, no matter where they are. And really the overall theme here with the CMR is that you have one conferencing platform. You don't need a voice conferencing system, a web conferencing system, and a video conferencing system. You have one conferencing platform. You schedule one meeting, and then people join the meeting based on the capability and the context that they're in at the time. If they're on a mobile device, they can join. If they're on a tablet, they can join. If they're on a laptop with a WebEx client, they can join. Or for the best experience possible, they can walk into a telepresence rich experience meeting room and collaborate that way as well. So what's in it for your organization for all these things? Well, we can look at this from a couple of perspectives. One is line of business, and the other is IT. So from a line of business perspective, is enabling employees within an organization, within a particular line of business with these capabilities of pervasive video, being able to do rich video interactions at any time, and enabling them to do so on their own devices and being able to be mobile and wireless within the organization, or leveraging 4G and other wireless networks outside of the organization in a seamless way. Being able to enable remote workers and business-to-business communication outside of the organization, as well as them being able to enrich customer interactions as well. From an IT perspective, it's just a simplified deployment as well as simplified management of these solutions. All these applications can be virtualized, and you can also have multiple different ways of deploying and consuming this, from on-premise solutions to cloud solutions. And again, not just having a voice platform, a video platform, and a web conferencing platform, but a single platform that is easy to manage and brings all these things together, reducing end-user complexity. And reducing end-user complexity reduces support burden as well. So business-to-business and remote worker enhancements that are in the new capabilities in the Cisco collaboration platform allows secure business-to-business video collaboration outside the enterprise for enhanced communication with suppliers, partners, and customers beyond just that internal collaboration. And remote and home-based worker productivity is improved with on-net access to video collaboration securely without the need for a VPN. Or if you want to enable that home worker with all their devices on the network, again, that Meraki Teleworker really simplifies the deployment of those capabilities as well as the support, because everything is reported back to that cloud-managed dashboard as well. And this seamless borderless collaboration supports a wide range of video endpoints in Cisco Jabber for smartphones, tablets, and desktops. And again, all of this is secure. Secure communications through standard space and secure firewalls is possible for all SIP and H.323 devices. And really what this enables is borderless collaboration all the way from the browser and mobile device all the way up to the highest end boardroom and everywhere in between, being able to have a rich experience on virtually any device. And we'll just take a look at some of the newer devices. So these are some of the new phones from Cisco. So the 7800 series, the 8800 series are relatively new and are really have some nice new features on them, and it's just a great technical refresh for some of the older Cisco phones that have been around for a long time and are due for a technology refresh. And then at the upper end there with the DX series are the personal telepresence devices, really rich devices that have Android built into them, so you can even do virtual desktop over them, et cetera, and even potentially eliminating the need to provide users a PC for a remote home worker. You can provide this DX capability with that borderless connectivity through the Expressway and access most, if not all, of the collaboration applications necessary that way, or maybe connecting it to a Meraki Teleworker device, the Z1, and ensuring access and QoS through that VPN tunnel of all the capabilities that you're delivering to that end worker. And then from a collaboration room portfolio, a rich portfolio of telepresence devices from the MX line of all-in-one with the camera, speakers, screens, et cetera, to the solutions of the SX10, SX20, and SX80 of bring your own display setups. But again, that borderless collaboration capability of the Expressway allows these devices to be either on-net or off-net and behave and be able to be used by end users virtually the exact same way as they do inside the network. So you have a single branch office that maybe you just have a public internet connection there, and you just need to have a telepresence device, maybe even there temporarily, and having that register back to your corporate call manager in a secured and controlled manner provides a lot of flexibility. So you might be thinking to yourself, so this is great information about how I can enabling borderless collaboration within an organization, but how do we make it relative to your organization? And so Core has evolved our services model to help organizations figure that out, right? So again, starting with that, the collaboration cycle of starting with the business activity, that's also where our services begin as well, with the concept of collaboration needs assessments that works with an organization on interviewing key stakeholders and really understanding what are the objectives of the business and what is the business trying to accomplish from a people and process perspective. And that's then going to help define what are some capabilities that are needed from a technology perspective in order to enable those needs. And then some collaboration technology assessments, which can assess an organization's technology capability as it is today and identify those gaps that are needed and maybe some new technologies to be implemented in order to meet those business needs identified in the needs assessment. And then looking at collaboration spaces assessments, whether that's, conference rooms, workspaces, or in some cases, how and where are people working from home, and giving suggestions on some new technology to enable those home and field workers, in those spaces as well in order to create a more rich working environment for those. Collaboration implementation services as our traditional technology implementation and handover services of any solution that's identified and implemented, and then training and adoption services, with the difference between training and adoption being training, teaching someone how to use a new tool or device, and adoption is teaching them how to use a tool or device in the context of their business, right? How do they use something like a DX80 in their home office within the context of their job, and how do we maximize the ability of that tool for that specific user. And then the other thing that going through this process of the collaboration services cycle helps create is a shared vision between executive leadership, line of business departments, IT services, as well as HR, marketing, and other non-IT central functions. By going through this process, it gets everybody engaged. It helps the business define the technology needs, helps identify which initiatives and objectives that are relevant, and creates a shared vision. Often either the executive leadership or the business leadership have one idea of what they need, and IT services might have a different, because we all come from different lenses and different perspectives. And this process, it helps bring those different perspectives together and combine them and help understand the other areas of the business of the different perspectives and help come together as a shared vision and identify what are the roadblocks. Are they technical? Are they organizational? Are they financial? Are they all of the above? And identify solutions for not just the technical problems within an organization, but what are some other changes within the organization from a process perspective, et cetera, that can help these new technology-enhanced capabilities of borderless collaboration actually be effective inside the business. And in the end, this has an impact on corporate culture. And so you don't just simply put in collaboration technology and expect it to change the business. In order to change the business, you have to change organizational culture. And what we see is the most effective in collaboration technology being adopted by an organization and having an impact on corporate culture is a lot of it has to do with leadership, and leadership is one of the most important factors for contributing to gains in employee productivity and innovation. Leading by example by leveraging these capabilities and technologies and interacting with those peers, as simple as, when doing WebEx with peers and whoever is running the meeting is the first to turn on their camera and encourage that video first collaboration in order to create more rich experiences with each other, because a lot of employees still are not, especially older generation employees, maybe are not comfortable or used to being on video all the time, and that takes a little bit of getting used to. And so leading by example and driving that corporate culture of yes, it is okay to turn on your camera, and that there are benefits to doing that because we can all interact with each other in a more meaningful way is very important. As well as making sure that these pervasive collaboration tools must integrate seamlessly with the way employees work and be pervasive in the workplace, so that everyone that needs these tools has access to them, but has access to them not just when they're in the office, but wherever they might be in any context. As well as, we look at when rolling out a new technology, how can you incentivize, motivate, recognize, and reward the right collaborative behaviors, which can have a real impact on the adoption and utilization of a new technology and driving behavior. So that's about it. Went a little quickly because it didn't seem like we had anyone jumping in with some questions, but I hope today's session was helpful. I'll hang out for a minute if there are any questions. Otherwise, thank you all for attending today's webinar. Absolutely, no problems. Stephen, I'm glad you enjoyed it. You know, if you want to follow up, also individually, here's my email address, lance.cunningham@corebts.com. Happy to speak with any of you and your organization and how we can make you more flexible. Looks like we might have a question from Chris. It says, for B2B, business to business, does it require that the other business also has Cisco? Oh, that is a great question. No, it does not. So Cisco is all standards-based SIP and H.323, and interoperability is one of the main things that is a Cisco platform strength. So it does not have to all be Cisco. Generally, it does recommend standards-based. However, with Microsoft Lync, for example, which is not standards-based, there still are interoperability capabilities built into the Cisco platform. So Cisco does interoperate with a lot of different devices, particularly if they use SIP or H.323 standards-based. CMR Cloud is evolving to become more and more interoperable with even some things outside of standards-based, as well as we have other Cisco complementary solutions that we can bring into play if there are specific things that that need to be brought in. And maybe one of the other things that I didn't highlight specifically is there's a new concept called Jabber Guest, which uses WebRTC, if you've heard of that before. And WebRTC is supported in the Cisco platform and is the evolving area, if you're familiar with it, as you may know. But basically what that allows you to do is you don't need to have anything, just an HTML5 enabled web browser and go to a URL and basically get asked to use your webcam and microphone and then click a big green call button and you can interact with an organization. So even if an outside B2B organization doesn't have the devices that Cisco devices or compatible devices, you can simply send them something like a Jabber Guest link, or that's also the power of CMR with WebEx, is that anybody can join a WebEx session, right? So you can simply set that up and then send them the WebEx link, and virtually anyone can join that by simply clicking the link in the invite to join WebEx, and they don't need an account or any other devices, just the ability to join a WebEx. So that really eliminates that technology barrier that had been there in the past. Hope that answers your question, Chris. You're welcome. Any other questions?
Great. So thank you, everybody, for joining us this afternoon and taking time to view this presentation. If you have further questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to Lance. His contact information is up there. Or you can always reach out to marketing.team@Core BTS, and we'll get back to you in just a day or two. Keep an eye out in your inbox for an email follow-up from us with a link to this recording in the next 24 to 48 hours. And thank you again for joining us. Hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon and a great weekend.